Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to my journey to defeating easy Lucid. In today's video we're going to be focusing on one of the key points of progression, which is our equipment. There are a lot of ways to gear our characters, and I'll be walking you guys through how I'm planning on gearing my Corsair. The way that I will be approaching my progression is not necessarily the most efficient way, but I think this way it will let me do a variety of activities in the game to make things a little bit more interesting for myself. Starting off with the armor pieces, we're going to be using the rental CRA gear that was given to us for our terror burning. We'll be replacing the hat top and bottom with the real deal once we can clear CRA. Until then, I'll just leave them as they are, other than the potential which I rerolled into at least 3% dex. As for the weapon, I'll be using the CRA weapon until I can replace it with a better item. The one I'm planning on replacing it with is actually an Absolab one. A level 220 on a terror burning character, we get a box where we can choose either to get a 15-star Dominator Pendant or a 17-star Absolab weapon. Both the items come with a set potential that we can't change, and we can't star force them further than what they're given. For this event, they give us actually this option twice, one for creating a terror burning character and getting it to 220, and once again for making a new explorer and getting that to 220. So for us, we'll be getting both these boxes at the same time once we hit 220, which means that I get both the Absolab weapon, which is an upgrade to the Fafnir one they give us, and the Dominate Pendant. This leads us onto our accessories. Starting off with my rings, I mentioned in a previous part that I intended on using 4 event rings for this character. We got one pretty much straight away from creating our character from the new Explorer rewards. We get one from leveling the character to 210 from a Terror Burning reward, and we get 2 more from the Starlight Symphony event pass. The only issue I have at the moment is that it will take me about 3 to 4 weeks to actually be able to claim the 2 from the Starlight Symphony event. This means that I'll have to find alternative rings to use until I get those event rings. My current plans on the rings is to use the 2 event rings that I'll get, one of which I started off with, and the other one I get at level 210. The other 2 rings I'll be using are going to be 1, a Silver Blossom ring from Horntail, and 2, the Treasure John's ring from the NLC quest line. I'll explain why I choose these 2 rings in a little bit. For the eye and face accessory, for the time being I'll be using the 2 Zakim accessories. My only real alternatives for these slots would be the Sweetwater items, but for now I don't want to be doing Commercy voyages because I don't want to add more dailies onto this character more than I already have. Maybe later down the track I'll consider switching to them because they do get a lot better when you get past 15 stars, which the Zakim accessories can't, but are still quite far down the track before I'll actually be able to use them. For the pocket slot, I'll be using the Pink Bean Cup. I was lucky enough to get one on my second run, and from a spare flame I got from my daily bosses, I actually got a usable flame on my Pink Bean Cup, so I'm not going to be waiting for a new, better one to drop. For the badge and shoulder slot, I'll be using the items you get from Magnus, which are the Crystal Ventus badge and the Royal Black Metal shoulder. Like I said before, I will be using the Dominator Pendant that they give us for reaching level 220. I'll quickly explain why I decided to go with the rings that I have. If you guys have been counting so far, the items that I've listed so far for the accessories nicely add up to the 7 pieces of the boss set. 1 the Horntail ring, the 2 Zakim base and eye accessories, the badge, shoulder, pocket slot, and 1 of the pendants. 7 set boss set is probably where I'll be leaving it because that's where we get the IED set bonus. We could realistically go for 9 set as well, but it does rely on us either getting a Pink Bean belt or the Von Leon ring. But the only issue I have with that is that the ring does take about 2 weeks to get, and the Pink Bean belt is an RNG drop that I might not even get. So rather than forcing myself to go for 9 set, I'm just going to go with the single ring that you get from Horntail and filling the slot with something else. And the NLC ring is a very easy item to get, so I'll just be using that for the time being. For the rest of the accessories, I'll be filling them with the Alien Fragment gear. The slots that I'm referring to are the second pendant, the earring, and the belt. You get these items from completing the Alien PQ, and even though they do take a bit of time to go through, you do get 5 tries a day for these 3 items, so it shouldn't really take you longer than a week for you to get all the pieces. They are a little bit expensive to cube and Starforce, but they'll be used until I can replace them with something better, like the Reinforced Golix set or the Superior Golix set. The 3 set bonus for the Alien Fragment set is also amazing at 50 attack, which is an insane amount of damage early on. So I'm really set on trying to get this, even though it can take me a while to get the items from the PQ. As for the last few slots, the cape, the gloves and the shoes, I'll be either using Von Leon gear or the Frozen set. There aren't very many good alternatives for these 3 slots, so I'm just going to fill them with items that have generally good stats. Von Leon's gear tend to have good flames and are pretty easy to get, so I'll be trying to get the Von Leon gloves and shoes. You can get these from clearing Von Leon and getting coins, and then buying them in his shop. As for the cape, I considered going for the Wings of Fate, but currently the questline is bugged and we can't actually finish the questline, so for now I'm just going to stick with the Frozen cape. Later down the track I might consider swapping over into something else, maybe the Tyrant's cape from Hard Magnus, or maybe I'll go back for the Wings of Fate. I'm not too sure yet, but I think the Frozen cape is fine to use until then. So I just hit level 210, and before I go too far ahead in the content, I wanted to quickly go through the gear that I've gotten so far. So I already went through what I wanted to get on this character in terms of its gear, so I just want to quickly showcase what I've gotten so far. So starting off with the CRA gear, last time we just re-rolled them with occult cubes to see if we can get one line of dex, and I settled on just 3%. I didn't want to re-roll too much on these because it can get a bit expensive, so when I saw one line of dex I just kept it. For my pants I got lucky and it got to 6%, so no complaints there, and the weapon we can't really do much about because it's a set potential. For the rings, I have one Treasure Hunter John's ring. I don't have a potential on this because I don't have any potential scrolls, but maybe eventually I'll get an E-pot for it, but for now I'm just going to leave it as it is for training. We have a Silver Blossom ring. This originally was just a rare potential, but I threw some yellow cubes on it that I got from daily bosses and it tiered up to epic. And then I re-rolled it with occult cubes to get it to 6% dex. This one is just a placeholder for the time being because now that I'm level 210, this will be replaced with the 210 event ring. So I'm actually going to go grab that now. So you can see here, once I hit 210, I get 5 experience node stones and the Eternal Flame ring. And there we have it. I have a free event ring that also comes as unique, which is great. Might be a bit annoying to reroll because it is unique, so I either have to find Meister cubes or Master Craftsman cubes to reroll. And ideally I don't want to try tear it up now because it can be pretty expensive. I think I do have one Meister cube that I can use and see what we get. Okay, so I've got something usable, 6% dex. So I'll probably just keep that for the time being and I'll replace this Alien Fragment ring. And then the last ring is our Reboot Tenebrous ring. This one's also just at 6%. I think this tiered up from an occult cube when I was rolling for 3% dex, so I just kind of got lucky there. I haven't bought any epic potential scrolls or tried to farm them at all at the moment. Any epics that you see here are pretty much accidental. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the rings. The cup I got from my second run from Pink Bean, and I chucked a random flame on it, and it's got 12 dex and 6% all stat. And I think that's good enough to keep for the time being. I won't re-roll it or worry about upgrading this for a while. For the pendant, I have the Alien pendant. I'm currently just not using it because I have the Greed pendant in. So this is something that you can get from Monster Park to increase item drop rate. You can see I'm still missing some stuff, so this Greed pendant is mostly here so then I can have a better chance of getting items. The other pendant I mentioned that isn't the Alien one will be the Dominator pendant. I just need to get to 220 before I can get that from the box. So currently I'm just using the Spirit pendant, so it'll give me a bit more EXP while I train and do my dailies. For the belt, I have the Alien Fragment belt. Another thing I should mention is that the Alien Fragment pieces, they all drop at least epic, so that does save me out on trying to upgrade these myself. Both of them are just sitting at 7% dex right now. For the Iron Face accessory, we have both of these from Zakum. So I finally got a good flame on the face accessory and I kept this. And this one also tiered up to epic accidentally from probably occult cubes. 6% dex on this one. This one doesn't have anything because the flame's not very good, so I'm just waiting to see if I get one with better flames. For the earring, I'm just waiting to get the Alien Fragment earring drop, so I've been using this since I found them on the floor. It's not much to say about it. For the gloves, shoes, and cape, I went through this and I'm probably going to keep this cape and use the frozen one because it does give 7 attack, which is pretty nice. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to change it with anything else, but for the time being I think this cape is fine, and I might cube this over later. For the gloves, I'm just buying them from the Von Leon shop at the moment. You can see in my inventory I have like a bunch of them. And I'm just buying them until I get something with a nice flame, and this is the best one I've gotten so far. Same thing with the boots, I'm just kind of waiting until I get something with a good flame. And I've bought a fair amount of them. I've got this one here at 67 flame, and I haven't Starforced it up, so that's probably why it's giving me lower range. But yeah, again, I'm also still waiting for potential scrolls, so I'm just going to use the Pencileer boot for the time being. As for my emblem, I mentioned in a previous part, I'm waiting to get the unique emblem that we get from, I think, level 220 rewards. So I'm just going to leave it as it is, and once we get the unique emblem, then I'll start working on it. For the secondary, ideally I will have this cubed up, but again, I still haven't got any potential scrolls. I don't really know how I want to allocate my potential scrolls just yet, so I'm holding off from it. Ideally though, this should be upgraded, and it's probably one of the first items that I will actually start pushing once I start cubing my items. And then for the last two spots, which is the shoulder and the badge, I'm still waiting on the drop from Magnus, so there's not much I can do here other than wait until I get the drop. As for my Arcane Symbol, it's currently at level 4, and it will upgrade to level 5 by the end of this video, maybe even higher depending on how I record, because I haven't done my dailies just yet. But yeah, these are pretty easy gains to do, and it just will slowly go up as we play. And now that I'm 210, I can actually get the Choo Choo symbol. Alright, that's enough talking. I'm gonna go run off, do my Choo Choo pre-quest, and I'll see you guys at the end of that one. So I just finished up Choo Choo Island. This thing was a little bit more painful than I expected, mostly because I didn't have the Arcane Force for the later part of the pre-quest. But now I've unlocked the new area. I've got a new set of dailies that I can do that gives me more symbols. Regarding Hungry Mudo, I'm probably only going to be able to do normal Mudo, so I won't be able to do the hard version for all the symbols, but I'll do what I can, and once I can do hard Mudo, then I'll transition to that. For now, I'm just going to go through the rest of my dailies, and yeah, we'll see where that leaves us. So from doing my dailies, I got just a little bit over a level in terms of EXP. After one day of doing Choo Choo, I already leveled up my symbol once. This one levels up pretty quickly compared to some of the later ones because we'll be able to do Hungry Mudo. Hungry Mudo gives us 5 each run if we're doing hard mode, but as I said before, I'm probably just going to do normal until I can actually do it. I'm going to need at least 200 Arcane Force, so I'm still a little bit away before I can do hard Mudo comfortably. But what I realized was my damage is actually still quite low and I'm still struggling with killing the mobs, even in normal Muto. So I think for now, I'm going to start working on actually upgrading some of my pieces. I did make some changes since I reviewed my gear just a little bit earlier in the video. The only real difference is that I got the Eternal Flame Ring and then I have this Horntail Earring. So this one actually just dropped pretty much during my dailies, and this is my first one. And I don't really know if I want to stick with this just yet, but I'm just using it because it is slightly better than what I was using before. So in the next video, I think I'm going to start aiming on upgrading my gear. I'm mostly going to be cubing some of the stuff that I think I'm going to be needing to clear CRA. Although I don't feel like I need too much. I think the main thing I need to start working on is just getting everything to 10 stars and with a potential. Hopefully I'll be able to get the Alien Fragment Earring. Been a little bit unlucky with it. I've gotten many belts and many pendants and rings. You can see here I've got like 3 rings, 3 pendants all up and an extra belt, but no earring just yet, but hopefully it drops. I'm also waiting on the Magnus shoulder and badge. So what I might give a go is I might do the Magnus pre-quest, so then I can give a go at normal Magnus. Might be a long run and I might barely have the damage to do it. I have roughly 600k range, which is probably the bare minimum that is required for a normal Magnus. I'll give it a go maybe next time. But for now guys, I think that'll be all for this part. Thank you all for joining me. Wherever you guys are in the world, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. And as always, take care. See you guys in the next one.